but what I'm saying is, the reason why black people are in this condition is because
Is this a video thing or just kind of audio?
well, are you scared to be? Not scared, but you can stand there, you know, and you don't see.
Yeah, slightly. I want to dodge the camera. Slightly, I want to contribute. The audio thing, I'm definitely done.
No, that's fine. Most people don't want to be seen. They don't like their face, or they got work, wherever. It's what it is. I hope it's the lads. Yeah.
Who's going to be there? Anything to rehearse, or is it just going to be straight up questions? Or
We're talking. He's filming it. We're talking. But what I'm saying is, I'm talking. What we were talking about before was very important, and it happened. But I don't know if you recognise it, right? Black people talking about ways to fix black issues, and a black person comes and they use religion that they probably learned from someone else who knows as the tool to stop it. Regardless of the philosophy or the good or the bad, the outcome is you guys coming together to work on this. Don't do it. Pray. Read the Quran. Read the Bible. Yeah. And if you when I say that black people are collectively inadequate, you'll see it. And when I use the philosophy of you have that one skillful person, Pele, or you have a football people who are in crutches, it doesn't mean nothing, right? So every time I said something, your friend, the friend of ours, was like, yeah, but I don't do that. But he was this one remarkable black man who does all the great things. But even he, as a remarkable black man, refuses to pass the ball. How do we know? Because when we're talking, he goes, yeah, that black stuff, don't do it. And then he got slightly offended and started saying, oh yeah, I will never join your thing, and you're just going to fail because you don't have metaphysics and this kind of stuff, right? So you'll witness it unfold, of course. Yeah?
Now stay there.
Make sure you don't get the brother.
Yeah.
You don't want to be seen. Is he recording?
Yeah, it's recording.
There.
You ain't going to be on there, just...
Yeah. I don't want to compromise the man's work, innit?
Do you think? Let's go to the sunlight. My shade's going to go darker. I don't mind your corner.
Nah, he's cinematographer. He's actually cinematographer, and this is what he does for a living. We respect his craft, you see. 4K specialist. Yeah. What I'm saying, brother, is, I don't know if you saw that, but did you notice that, brother? Did you notice that? No, I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but people will talk about doing something, and the conclusion was do nothing.
You know when it comes to like a philosophy, your philosophy training, there people got different periods of truth, right? You know some people correspondence, coherence, and you got some people that say I'm a pragmatist. I don't care how true it is as long as it works.
Okay.
Well, you're almost saying it's pragmatist, right?
If
and
it works.
it's a pragmatic way of looking at the situation, right? Like as long as it's improvement. I don't really care about the metaphysical assumptions that he's so worried about.
I do care, but it's a waste of time to focus on it now.
And I lean towards your side. Even with myself, I'm religious and I believe in God and all that stuff like that. In aspects like that, like black empowerment and stuff like that, I'll be pragmatic. Like as long as I see measurable progress in people that look like me, people that need it. Like even more, if it's 8 people back in Africa, that's the kind of stuff to make my heart go soft to get. Like, so
the thing is, you can.
I
want you to see it, brother. I want you to see how non-black people have culturally conditioned the people who are identified as black, right, to behave a certain way, and you don't see this behavior in non-black groups. It's learned by osmosis. So that's why I say about the term elitism or qualification, as I say, right, where you find a small group of black people who are dedicated to betterment, and they go ahead and they create the environment that those brothers go into. And they won't even know they're in a better environment. That's what I told you, right, yeah? And what just happened was a demonstration of that, right? Yeah? That's the solution as I see it. It's a very, very pragmatic, very practical, very executional solution, right? And it will guarantee that the people from our background, our cultural groups, our communities, will actually have more things going for them in a betterment direction. It's just what it is. Now, you notice that when I was talking, I wasn't angry. The things I was saying wasn't to upset. I was trying to say, look, we have to draw a line in the sand, innit? You can't come into a meeting that's about helping black people and say, let's disband the meeting. How does that make sense? Because that's what it's essentially saying, right? I want to come to a meeting about helping black people and then disband it.
In his head, what he's saying is, I want to come to a meeting and I want to enlighten your group. That's what he's
Brother,
that's how he sees it, right?
There's a process called benchmark rebranding, isn't it? Where you lower the benchmark and you rebrand it. And that's what's happening, isn't it? The outcome is black people working together to fix black issues. If you come and you stop that, and black people remain in the same place prior, then how valuable is that philosophy? Not valuable at all. It's like I said, it's only the black community group who's learned this through osmosis, who venerate and love and promote the action of doing nothing. They're venerating the concept of actually doing nothing. Kumbaya, innit? That's what it is. Do nothing.
Vibes.
Yeah. Rely on other people, include everyone else, but don't actually get black people to come together to learn something and do stuff. Yeah?
Right.
So what I'm saying is, but you witnessed it. You might not even know you witnessed it. You might not even know it. I'm not, listen, this ain't like right, wrong, good or bad. I'm saying, when I started the conversation, I said, unfortunately, black people are collectively inadequate. And there was a bit of, oh, that's a strong statement, right? And then as I've gone through, I'm saying, let's test it. Let's test if black people know collectively.
I definitely lean towards a proposition now.
Yeah? What I'm saying is, it happens in every single osmosis and metric, right? That's why I say the solution is when someone is saying, let's come together, the people who are keen, clever, and creative, who step forward, you bring them closer. The people who are objecting and talking about comparison, religion, the stars, the animals, the floor, but they're not talking about black people who are actually fixing black issues. You cast them away. You go, brother, when you're ready to follow the rule set, come along. But why would you want to sit down with 20 black people who are there to help black people, and you have one person who comes in and they want to flip the table over and say, you know what, let's go home. That never has made sense, but it seems to make sense here in Speaker School, right? That's why I have to come with a consistency, That's why I say the brother who's trying to give advice about how to help black people, I say, what do you do to help black people? Does anyone see you helping black people? No. So you want to give advice, it's something you don't even want to do. And your best advice is, follow this religion, don't network with the people who want to do this, and that's the solution. Makes no sense. Absolutely no sense. Make it make sense to me. Make it make sense. Make at the end of the conversation, black people prosper, black people are better. Make it make sense, that action makes sense. Only amongst our community, they're collectively inadequate amongst our community, well, that makes sense. But when you go for a smaller group, a 5 to 30% ratio of intelligent, constructive, dedicated black people, it is them who are going to lead the way. And we're not allowed. We're forbidden to listen to people who start the conversation with do nothing. We're forbidden, because it makes absolutely no sense. And for many hundreds of years, we've been following that narrative, innit? If you do nothing, something will happen. Because that's what they're saying. You have to understand, you have to break down what they're saying. Do nothing, and something will happen. If I come to you and I say, listen, we need to actually paint pictures of the rainbow. Yeah, I'm saying to do something, but how does painting the pictures of the rainbow help black people? It doesn't. Gay people. The reason why you're seeing homosexuals, transgendered, and all these people on your TV now is because gay people wanted it to be. So they organized, they went into media companies, they go into high powers, they influence people, and now you're going to see gay people on TV. You see?
That's true.
Yeah?
That's true.
You see? They never said, listen, let's worship the rainbow. Let's draw pictures of the rainbow. They don't do that. They say, let's actually become organized and tangible and do stuff.
But to be honest though, like, I'm not feeling it. As we know, most of the people that are from our community, I think at least 85% of that are heterosexual white men from the Western world, right? Now, those people are the people that we know that most generally benefits from the inheritance of exploitation, of colonialism, and a long dark history that we know about, right? That's probably still going to this day, which is under the table. So, because those people who have that interest, and because they have that socio-economic background where they have actually resources to put things into action, I'm not quick to clap my hands. Does that make sense? Because if they had resources of like A, B, X, Y, Z, so if black people, or the collective inadequate, had the resources like other communities did, and they're just sitting on the face and they're saying, come here, then I'll be like, then I'll be a lot more.
The thing is,
you see where I'm coming from?
No, but you understand. Black people are defeated because of a mindset.
Right.
So, for example,
scarcity mindset. Right? I'm already thinking I lost before I've started.
The thing is, you have the rich people, the rich black people who play football, basketball, own the bank, whatever it might be, right? But if their mindset doesn't correlate with them, then they're going to parlay their money and push their money into other environments, other people groups, right? Which is what happens all the time. So it isn't just about having the resources, it's about having the mindset. That's why I promote a lifestyle of black women, And your mindset, and I don't want to use the brother who was on a few seconds ago, but his mindset will get all the money out, Because he said it. That he has a religious group he follows, and that religious group will always get his first dibs, even if the majority of people in that religion will mistreat him. Because the religion is that. I'm saying, okay, you're the only one practicing that because the other people don't practice that. They recognize that they don't. If a person's from their religion and they mistreat me, they don't. Even though they might be religious, they're unworthy because they're not following the tendencies of the religion. Yeah, but that kind nature of, like I said, if you punch many black people in the face, they're going to ask you, is your hands okay? This is obviously hyperbole, but this is what's actually happening. I'm breaking things down in it. You have a brother who says that even though these people are mistreating me and I can see it, I will help them before I help other black people because we have the same faith. Okay, fair enough. And then we go, but you do understand that they don't practice that themselves. They go, doesn't matter. Okay. Well, what I'm saying is now you understand why black people can't happen, right? Because the other people don't say that. They know that they can slap you and you'll come back. So they keep slapping you. That's what it is. Well, there are some black people in the same faith go, I'm tired of being slapped. I'm going to unite if all the other black people get slapped, and we're going to build our own banks, we're going to build our own media companies, we're going to build our own books, we're going to do all this stuff and focus on ourselves until then guys get their act together. Right? Now, if that doesn't make sense to you, I can't help you.
I think the crux of the conversation was you two disagreed on some fundamental things, right? So maybe what human nature was, right? You seem to have more emphasis on our environment.
Be careful, brothers.
He was more bothered about the predisposition of him being of the biological look at it, right? Then there's also the metaphysical commitment that he has to. Basically, if you look at all good philosophy, when you go right to the bottom, all of them have a different definition of what it means to live a good life.
Yeah, this is good.
Yeah. And based on whatever they presume is a good life, they build a philosophy now on top of it, right? But it really comes down to the fundamental assumption at the beginning, right? And I think, obviously, with him, he's much more theologically based, right? He's much more looking after the heavenly bread, like I said earlier. Whereas you are much more, like I said earlier, pragmatistic, right? You want to get results, which I'm too, by the way, right? And therefore, you're saying you're not even putting a label or opinion on the heavenly bread.
No.
But you're saying there's time for earthly bread. And I get that. I'm sure he gets it too, right? But
I'm saying that in my opinion, from my observation, the people who speak like that is an excuse. Meaning, if they weren't religious, if they were something else, they would use that. As in, religion is the perfect way.
That's on your behalf, though.
Okay, brother.
No,
I've told you 20 years.
Okay, that's experience. I can't talk about that.
Yeah, and I'm saying that
fair
maybe in this situation I'm wrong, right? But I'm saying that they were, like I said, it's like if a vegan comes here and the vegan says, every time I preach veganism, I get the same result. They let you know that. I'm saying that.
20 years is a lot of evidence that going on.
I'm saying that, it might be a different reason, but I see a pattern. And patterns are important. Because at a certain point, it doesn't matter why they do it, it's a pattern. And we're aware of the pattern, and we have to have solutions for the pattern. Yeah? Black people can't be helped if every time you try to come together, people step in and go, don't do this, go home. I mean, surely that makes sense, right?
Look, we're both theological. I like to think I'm committed to my religion. But on this aspect, I agree more with you.
I hear that.
Because I'm more about something pragmatic, something they can put a metric and measure it, something they can tangibly say, you know what, there has been improvement in the quality of life and so on, this, blah, blah, blah. Because, like you said yourself, they are the most impoverished people in the world. They are the people that have been the most discriminated in recent history anyway, right? They are the people that we know have been done unjust, right? And I think it's part of the human nature to want to do justice, right? Especially when these are young people. Especially.
Now, brother, if you go around and you listen to the Asian Burman groups, the Arab or whatever it might be, right? They never have a back and forth discord about the reasons why you should start.
Why should what?
They never have a back and forth about starting. They have a back and forth about doing. So with black people here, it's about why should we start? Why should we start? While them guys, they're already halfway through, right? And this is what I'm saying about, what are black people about?
It's an inconclusive circle.
Collectively inadequate, right? And it's a very controversial statement, but it's a correct statement, right? Until I start seeing black people with forceful joy and determination in practicing teamwork skills, the quote remains, right? And I use that quote to get straight to the point in it, yeah? What are we going to do about it? Yeah? And one of the solutions is, like I said, you have a small percentage of people. I told you about the 3 phases, right? Phase 1 is black people come up with the ideas. Phase 2 is the learned, creative, able-bodied practicing them, and then he doesn't really say.
I'm trying to keep him off camera.
Great, yeah. And it's the back to it. The phase 2 is the able-bodied creative people executing those ideas. And phase 3, they do nothing. They're in osmosis. They just exist in a world that has been created.
Right.
So in order for me to help the brothers who were just on, I would never bring him to a meeting. He would exist in the world we create, and he would benefit. Like he said that his job, let's pretend his job was, he worked in a shop. In a shop, right? The world that we will build for him, he would own his own shop. He'll have no idea that in a parallel universe, he was working for someone else. He'll just exist. He won't even know. He'll find his woman much more appealing. He'll find his family much more appealing because we create the world for him. But to wait for brothers like that, who are completely kumbaya, they've been completely kumbaya, yeah? They don't even know. How can you bring such a person to the truth? That's how leadership works, bro. You analyze behaviors and you draw a line in the sand. And that's what has to happen.
Right, but I could try defending. I could say that he has different roles between.
There's nothing wrong with what he's doing. I'm not saying it's wrong.
Yeah, I know you're not.
I'm saying leadership, bro.
Yeah.
When it comes to leadership, it's like if we're playing football, right? We want to win.
Right.
Look, there's one guy, he can do overhead kick, he can header the ball in the goal, and there's one guy, he's got no legs. You might go, well, we have to be equal. No. The guy can do the overhead kick, and the header and the ball, we'll use him. The guy with no legs, let's make him make the team. Make him have, I don't know, some kind of cheering device, I don't know, right? But if you start saying, no, brother, we have to put him on the team, then it's like, we're not going to win if we keep doing it. And it's like, if you want black people to win, you can't be putting people in there who every time they join, the first thing they say is, do nothing. This doesn't work, leadership don't work. But once again, if you're collectively inadequate, that makes sense to not do to do that. But once you want to become adequate, right, and you want to actually progress, you realize that we can't do that. And then you start defining how power works. And how power works is you disinvite that brother to anything. Until he comes and he says the right thing's needed. You can't do it. Why would you want it?
Yeah, I can't agree. You want everyone on the boat pushing the same way.
Same way.
Yeah, exactly. Teamwork, comprehensive. If you can't do it, yeah.
You see me, I never swear, I try to be kind, right? And what I'm saying isn't that we need a spirit. And when I was saying to them that brother, if you come here, no one will follow what you're saying because you have no action. Have you ever helped anything for black people? No. Yeah? Do you even preach anything about no? You preach religion. So why would anyone take anything serious as it pertains to black people if you've done nothing for black people? I'm gonna let you know something. When it comes to this diaspora, right? When it comes to black people facing other people, yeah? Like London. If you don't actively try to help black people, the chance that you do absolutely nothing. The way the system and osmosis works, if you're not actually trying to do something for black people, the chance that you do absolutely nothing. Yeah? You see what I'm saying?
The lifestyle, is nothing.
If you're not actually trying, you won't. For example, right? If you just walk down the street and you walk into a shop, the majority of those shops are not owned by black people. So just by walking, you're not having a right? But if you're aware that there's a black shop there and you go in there, you can at least financially, economically support that brother, right? That's how it works. That's how osmosis works. That's how the history works. The kumbayaism doesn't work. Kumbayaism helps everyone else. We're here, they're there, we move at 5% ratio, that's what happens. You see, that's what happens, right? Everything I say should be logical and be dedicated to black people, right? We have to give black people permission to help black people because black people are scared and intimidated to do that. And I'm not saying the brother's that way. I think by osmosis in the back of his mind, he's been conditioned to never help black people in a tangible way.
Yeah, I'd also say it's got a lot to do with the religion of secularism right here, consumerism, where our black people have been engrossed in consumerism. For example, I used to work in central London, right? Who do you think is going to selfish all the time? Like, the funny thing is the age group as well. They look to me like college kids, maybe early uni kids. It's probably student loan money, and they're going to Selfridges, come with the maddest bags, and it's like these are probably the most impoverished, indebted, socialized people in London, right? And the money they do have, they're throwing it on drip, and I know where that comes from. That comes from media. That comes from culture. That comes from trying to keep up the Jones. Trying to you see what I'm saying? Now you look at Asian community, right? They have much, seems to me anyway, like they're much more knit on it. They do not try as hard to keep. Obviously, get a few whatnot, but I'm talking about you don't ever see 5
Who owns more resources in London?
Look at Asian girls. Look how proud they are to wear their own, Indian clothing and whatnot. All that.
Yeah.
You see them do that? Like, I don't really see that. It does happen with African people,
But less so.
But less so.
What you're describing is a destroyed collective people, right? So what's the solution?
What's the solution? Well, I think definitely the black empowerment is a great.
Black empowerment, right?
I'm sorry.
Black people helping black. The black empowerment as well. I support black empowerment.
Black
But
empowerment,
specific,
black
right?
empowerment. I definitely think
Black people helping black people on black issues is the only way.
I think it's a double-folded solution to this.
Go ahead.
Like it's pretty much like you said anyway. But on the one hand, is the obvious, the tangible, the physical, the right now.
Yeah.
Putting money together, making better decisions, supporting each other in buying things, creating a brotherhood, a system. Like
Part one. Part two is the religious stuff. I get it.
no, I was going to say that.
What I'm saying.
Well, you did.
Well, I'm carrying what the brother said because I know that's important to him, and I've never undermined people being religious.
You asked for my answer. Give me my
I
answer.
know, but I'm just trying to make it more spicy. Go ahead.
Anyway, my part two would have been abstraction, ideas, philosophy. Right?
You said,
You saved my life, thank you. But yeah, the second part I was going to say, the second part is, like you said, campaigning.
Yeah.
All about getting the word out there because you fix the bottom where the root of the problem usually is education.
Yeah.
You cannot,
Right question.
if you help them one time but they do not understand the formula, they're forever waiting for handouts,
So
right?
that's why, each one teach one.
So one handle would be get active, get tangible, get results, get actually things like, on paper, whatnot, some things you can actually measure. On the other hand, the things that you cannot measure is the impact you have on people's minds, on a collective conscious.
Can you move a bit to the left so you can...
Oh, left, I saw you. So, your left.
Good. Can you stay there?
Yeah. Right.
So, first part was all about the tangible, the physical, metric, assets, seeing.
Thank you. Sorry, thanks.
I don't think it makes it similar.
No, I agree. So everything you're saying
The second one
correlates
is,
with
I think the
black
second one is more important to me.
Go ahead.
Because there is many people out black here who actually make loads of money, like for example athletes or footballers or designers, whatnot.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't really keep up. But I don't know how they spend the money. It doesn't seem like they spend the money the greatest, right?
No.
It doesn't seem like they spend it to their own communities, right? It doesn't really feel like they put a thought where the physical is. You
They
see
don't
what
have a
I'm
lifestyle, do
saying?
they?
So they got the money, they got the physical. These a footballer so and so, but they don't seem to have the campaign that's necessary in the community.
We have a campaign to make them synchronize with what we're saying.
Right, but once the campaigning has been done and the ideas have been articulated correctly and they've been communicated and people actually understand them and the seed sits there and it grows, then I think you're going to see a change that is growing by itself. Because once people start thinking different, they start acting different.
Well, that's why you have to campaign to change people's concepts, right?
Right.
So, for example, if we see that, if we want famous rich people, famous rich black men to marry famous black women, because of the optics of it, we realize that it's very inspirational, it's very influential, right? We have a campaign. Now, I told you earlier, a campaign might be anytime a brother marries a sister, on social media, we have like an award ceremony, like everyone goes, congratulations, black love, blah, 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 and we just promote that, yeah? We make that an amazing thing that the community uplifts, right? By osmosis, the brothers will know, the community actually really appreciate when I find a black sister, right? All these things, yeah, it's how do you make a person aware? If your auntie has a store, and we go, here's your auntie's logo, here's your auntie's store, here's her website, here's what she sells, and it's like, and we say black economics and we post it as a banner, and people share it, then we say, oh, this is what we're trying to promote, right? And we make that thing important, yeah? This is what it is. Right now, unfortunately, there's many situations that we promote things that isn't in our collective best interest. What the brother was talking about, the way he presented stuff wasn't in our collective best interest, right? Because he kept talking about other people. He kept saying that I'm going to find other non-black people to unite with them because we share religion, even though I'm telling you that those people actually hate me. But because I love my religion so much, I'm willing to be mistreated and share religion with them and network with them, build infrastructure with them because I share religion rather than my ethnic people group. Because classification has been discriminated against, right? Because I gave you an example which you give on camera as well, right? Very important. When you think about sexism, you think about a dynamic between man and woman. When you think about racism, you think about a dynamic between European and African, right? Black and white, right? It's just how we've been programmed. Yeah? It's okay for a woman to identify as a woman and try to fix women issues. Well, they're going to change it soon, but right now it's okay, right? It's not okay for a black person to identify as black and fix black issues. That comes down to discriminating against classification. As in, you're no longer allowed to fix things based on this classification in the quote-unquote world of race or ethnic group, right? And this is problematic because if ever there was a people group that needs to actually focus on ethnic group or race, it's black people because we're collectively inadequate. We have the worst history when it comes to finding solutions. We have the worst history when it comes to being mistreated. Like I said, no matter if you're from some type of African place, and you go to any place, you tend to find similar stories, right? They accuse you of being this, or they perceive you as being that, and you go through a similar experience. Some might change, some might not, who knows, right? But I'm saying, when are we going to actually do something about it? And when are we going to actually push away the kumbayaras? We're going to say, brother, stand over there. When are we going to be in a group as 7 people talking, and someone steps in to talk about not doing anything, and everyone turns on Cole and go, brother, you're out of line. You don't want to hear that.
Yeah, I think that will happen though. If you got a bunch of 6 men who are here committed, who actually care about the cause, and then someone comes in and says something that's not benefiting the cause,
Brother,
I'm sure they'll
me
all
and
come.
you, brother,
Yeah.
me and you need to be those people here today.
Right.
So if we can rewind time, and the brother, and we love the brother, he comes in, as soon as he starts saying unsynchronized stuff, but with the conclusion is, don't do nothing, they're like, oh, whoa, brother. You said I said do nothing, bro. How does that make sense?
It didn't actually say it like that, but I know he interpreted
Brother,
it that way, yeah. But to him,
a
it's not nothing.
very important thing, right, is benchmark rebranding and things have at the back of the mind. No one's going to step up and say direct words now, right? It's like if I come on TV and I say that non-black women, this is random, are the best looking women of all time, I don't need to say black women are ugly. What I'm saying is problematic. Isn't it? It's like, why are you saying that anyway? Where did you learn that? How does that quote on national TV help black people, especially the way people are thinking at the moment? So he didn't have to say, I think that black women are ugly. He just needs to say that non-black women are the best. In that case, that's already too much. If you're trying to fix black issues, how is that beneficial? So I interpret that as that, right? It's not beneficial to the collective. It's not beneficial from a market standpoint. It's not beneficial from an opposite standpoint. So he is talking against the betterment of black people by doing it. And that sounds hard.
He sees a greater goal.
Huh?
He sees a greater goal.
He sees a greater goal.
Yeah, like obviously Timber was about coming together based on belief, coming based together on faith, religion, on God, and that would truly unify people. And I see his coming from his argument. His argument's got some merit, but yours does too, because you're also saying I was something tangible,
He's
right?
a football player with no legs.
Yeah? Yeah.
Big smile, nice personality, but he's got no legs. We can't put him up front. We certainly can't put him in goal. Yeah? I'm saying, I love all that kind, we are the world, we are the people, we are the ones to make a brighter day. Let's start, whatever the lyrics are, right? Good for you. But you're not going in goal. You're not going in goal. You're not going up front. No, in fact, you're not getting on the pitch. You'll be lucky to get in the stadium. But that's how you have to be if you take stuff serious.
Well, yeah. And even once you do get a brother going, things are rolling around, there's always even then the possibility of corruption come from within, right? Somebody that might somebody infiltrating, which is obviously sounds like government or whatever, but and number 2, somebody in there who's actually was a good straight nut, and then he turned, and then
that's why you have rules.
Right.
Black betterment is black people helping black people on black issues, right? As soon as a man comes in there, starts saying, bruv, you know all the money we've made, let's now bring it to Poland and give it to Polish people. You're like, hold on a minute, what, black Polish people? No, that doesn't make sense. He's now gone off code. He's now violated the terms of why he was there. If I'm a vegan, I'm in a vegan meeting and I say, bruv, let's celebrate, let's sacrifice 2 chickens. Now hold on, that might go against the principles of veganism, maybe. Let's just look at it. Don't harm animals. Are animals being harmed when you sacrifice them? Yeah, can't do it. If the man is consistent, he's swinging chickens around his head, you have to kick him out of the place. That's what it is.
Right.
Yeah? Now this makes sense to logical people who want to prosper. But the people who are not logical, who don't want to prosper, it's complete madness. It's the most craziest thing you've ever heard. Actually focusing on a particular group and being committed. Oh my gosh, who made it that one? But that's why I say that unfortunately, currently, black people are collectively inadequate. And me and you other brothers hopefully are coming together to remedy that. To make a black person go on any public sphere, any public platform, and do things to help black people. And be confident knowing it's the right thing. It's embarrassing that I have to give black people permission to help themselves. It's embarrassing. But it is what it is because we're defeated. And that's why I do what I do.
I think when you said it's embarrassing, it is embarrassing.
It's
I
very
agree.
embarrassing.
It is embarrassing. There's no way around it. But
It's
I
understandable.
think that once again brings back to the emphasis. The most important point for me, campaigning.
Of course.
Because if you get the action in, so like you get assets and so on, so you don't get campaigning in, the money's getting squandered, right? If you get a campaigning in first, money might take some time to come, but when the money comes, there should be channels in place for it. There should be things in place for it to continue going, right? So I said it to you earlier on already, like I personally believe we live in the day and age of post-colonialism. And at first it was, the white man coming to Africa to talk about conversion to Christianity. The next stage, which was a much more smooth stage, people don't talk about as much in the history books, but it was the second stage, was the restriction of resources, which has been going on for the longest.
Right.
And now we're in the third stage, what they're doing is they're subjugating our minds. They're telling us about what it means to be a good person. They're telling us about human rights as if it's some real thing out there. They tell us about these liberal values that we have to tolerate, and because they are just good, they're brutal, the fact they're good, so and so. And then, so once again, like, and it's not just black people, I think it's anyone in the Western world who's a diaspora to us, because of media, because of government, school mandate, because of all these things that put in place, our environment. Even to ourselves, we're all colonized to a certain extent. And I think this is the post-colonial stage. It's still colonialism, but like I said, it started physical, now it's got mental, right?
Now, yeah.
And also, like in the country, look around, I think you see a fake diversity, everyone thinks the same, everyone doesn't say la la. And because of that herd mindset I'm trying to describe right now, is what stops black people from taking a step forward and empowering themselves, because they're happy in a world of secular liberal consumerism. They're happy to be behind Netflix and ordering their food, and you see what I'm saying? So,
well, sometimes I think that black people have conditioned to not recognize pain, right, and suffering, right, and we culturalize, the glorification of not achieving. Unfortunately, this is happening. The thing is, what I would say is this, right? All these things you're saying is because we don't own it. You have to own your own media. You have to own your media outlets, and that has to be a thing. And then you push in your content that works within the collective band. Right? That's what it is. So all these new ideas that non-black people are doing, so be it. But if there is a way of living that works in black people's best interests, create media groups and you promote that content non-stop. That's it. Right? But what happens is, I know I don't want to keep bringing up the brother who came on, but I'm using him as an example.
Personate.
Yeah.
Okay,
But what I'm saying is, recognizing those brothers, very important. Because you won't be able to make a media company with those kind of mindsets, as it pertains to black men. As it pertains to rainbows and sunshine, yes, you can do it all day. As it pertains to black people and black people, you won't, because you have arguments every 7 seconds, right? So that's why it's important that that's why I said it's a form of elitism, a qualification, right? As in like, who is more dedicated to this process, who wants to do it, that small 5% to 30% will work with them, and then the rest will follow by osmosis. They will have no choice. Yeah? Right. Think of it like this, right? If a black person can be conditioned to do something that isn't in their best interest, that means they can be conditioned to do something that's in their best interest. Makes sense, right? If I can condition you to fight yourself.
I like to think they'll think for themselves at one point, but yeah, I agree. If they can be conditioned one way, they should be conditioned the other way too.
Unfortunately, the mind doesn't work that way. So, unfortunately, some people would rather just exist in a world where things are done for them. Right. So they're not going to be part of the grand scheme of building. They're going to be the grand scheme of existing. So we're trying to make their existence better. Right. You don't judge them for it. You don't mistreat them for it. You recognize that they shouldn't be mistreated for being of a certain group. So we're going to make sure that their environments are better. But they're not going to be a part of the fixing process. And that's why I said to the brother before the camera started, unfortunately, brother, if you came in, you'd be escorted to the door. They won't want to listen to you because everything you're saying is completely unsynchronized with black Burma. Everything. And it has no value for black people. Absolutely none. As it pertains to black people, helping black people with black issues. I stand the same thing. My message is very consistent, and I look for challenges. I put out to the world. If you want to challenge me, come along, but I'm going to say the same thing.
I respect you. I like what you're doing. I think you're doing something great for the community. I think your concept is great as well. This idea of campaign mixed together with actual actions, right?
Yeah.
I think the only thing, which you also mentioned by the way, so I'm not bringing nothing new to this, but the only other thing which I think would even kickstart further is this whole, I don't even read like the Republic of Plato, where he talks about this elite class, like elitists, of philosopher kings. Smaller group of people who make the decisions on behalf of great people, and they're going to be very, what's the word? Selfless. They're very going to be like thinking on behalf of others because they have the brains, they have the commitment. Because they should rule. Because leaders are generally people who don't want to lead, right? But they have the skills to do so, right? So I generally think if you get a group of, if you get the campaign is really working, it's going out there, it's starting to osmosis itself, and then this elite group of elitists come together, and people actually see the real progress, and the osmosis has already been in the background playing, and having these thoughts that have been playing in your head come together, actually empirically seeing this come together, I think that could be the spark. And then one friend jumps on it, and the next friend jumps on it, and it's like a virus. And then it's parasitic, right?
Yeah.
And that's what you want it to be. You want to be a parasitic idea.
You want to be, you want things to travel by osmosis and to be naturalistic, right? As we are forming that natural environment, or what should be natural, has been changing it.
Right.
People from a certain group speaking against their own betterment isn't natural. It's learned behaviour.
It's
learned behaviour. And you witness that today.
But people, like I said to you already, like if people have, to be fair to them, people have different ideas of what betterment is, right? You might think this is better for our people, I might think this is better for our people. You might have the best of your heart, I might have the best of my heart. I might be completely wrong, you might be completely right, but you can't fault me because my heart was in the right place. You see what I'm saying?
Like I said, I never mistreat black people for being misguided or even being right or wrong, right? I'm saying, look at how they're talking. They're highlighting a list of problems, a list of challenges.
I know, I come across as...
And then when it comes to solution, their solution is outside the group and coming from groups that are contributing to those challenges. Makes no sense. But they're culturally compromised, they're psychologically compromised, isn't it? So as a leadership committee and leadership group, we can't allow them to have any kind of power because they're going to run the train off the course. And they want to, and they'll do it with a smile on their face. So that's why you have to have rules. Rules have to make sense, and people have to qualify, qualifist, elitist, whatever, for certain roles. I mean, it's very peculiar that you're trying to find solutions for black people, and the person who wants to join doesn't want to mention black people, doesn't want to do things specifically for black people. It makes absolutely no sense. It does if you're collectively inadequate, it does if you've been culturally compromised, and it does if that if you're not part of that kind of group. That's what it is. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm glad we've got people like you out here now.
I'm glad to be here, bro.
We need people like you, need more people like you. I hope people actually listen to you.
More people like you, bro.
Because you talk a lot of sense. Everything you say is consistent, consistent, it's vigorous, and it has actual purpose, it has actual meaning, it has actual utility to society. I hope people really stop watching Netflix and come off the phones and talk about Kim Kardashian, Love Island, and actually talk about things that will better our community.
I appreciate that, bro. But what I was trying to say before you kick away with me, is the way you acted or reacted when we were speaking is valuable. You spoke, you listened, you realized there's something you agree, something you disagree. You said, okay, well, let me take your number, let me take this information, let me follow this thing, right? I don't like using, I can only talk to things that you saw. You witnessed another brother, he took no information, he asked no questions.
Let's be charitable.
I know he's a brethren of yours and he's a brethren of mine.
He's a very smart guy and
very intelligent. Listen, the way I'm talking about your
got different metaphysical commitments.
Brother, the way I'm talking about that brother is the same way I talk about my own brother.
I respect what I like about you. I like that.
What I'm saying is I'm not trying to divide friends. You should love that brother for 500 years. I'm saying cool. I'm saying we have to recognize, just like I recognize it in my brother here, my sister here, whatever, we have to recognize that this brother in the current condition won't understand the things we're saying. So they won't be able to benefit at the rate that we might need them to. And it's important. I remember I kept stopping this to go, we have to recognize this. We have to recognize that we're talking about this topic and this brother is saying things against that topic. And that's why I had to go, forget black people, let's talk about vegans. We're vegan, right? And next thing you know, the man wants to sacrifice a chicken. That's not vegan. It's I have to make it very plain because black people, if you don't make it very plain, they end up in the stars, the moon, the stars. And not to be rude, the brother kind of ended there in some form. He was kind of starting the stars in some form, wasn't he?
There's a logos and there's mythos, right?
Yeah. But what I'm just saying that it's what it was. But love to the brother, love to the brothers who are like that. Unfortunately, they're phase 3. They're not phase 1 or 2. This is what it is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, yeah?
Well, he's on his mission. You're on your mission. Yeah, man. Let's just hope that you both prevail, no?
Brother, I hope every person who's doing what they're doing prevail, but I'm very particular. I'm helping black people, innit?
Yeah.
I'm trying to fix black people. If I prevail, he prevails.
Right.
The difference is the solution to his life is in my hands, right? In the sense of he's included in the paradigm I'm talking about. I'm not including the paradigm he's talking about, unless I convert
Could
to...
be.
No, see, that's different. It's not that I could
Not
be.
necessarily. Yeah, it could.
Well, yes and no, right? The brother was very clear. Yeah, he's all about religion, and that's the solution to all things. Maybe so. Even though the religious person who is beating him up, he will forgive that person because of his religion, and he will practice betterment with that person because they share faith. So be it. It is what it is, right? But I'm letting him know that there are Muslims, Christians of all different sects, religious, atheists, all different sects who practice betterment, and he would be escorted to the door with such behaviour patterns.
Just to be honest, yeah? I take religion serious too, right? For me, one of my commitment is the belief as well, right? But I recognize the need for the help African people, black people, impoverished people, people who've done injustice for society, right? I'm not blind to, right?
Yeah.
And I realize I can do both.
Yeah.
So since I can do both, I will do both. This is I'm coming from.
How comes you can say that,
Yeah,
but
people are different.
most other people who, in my opinion,
Yeah.
have been conditioned to undermine black progress, rather than say, you know what, bro, if you're saying you want to start a collective that does this, I can do that. And I can still do everything I was doing prior.
Right.
Why is it that you can say that, but other people, the first thing they go is, stop what you're doing. Don't do that. Why is that? Because
Limited perspective or
now, it's what it is they have been culturally compromised. Meaning, if they put in religion now, if they never had religion, they'll use something else. They'll use the rainbow. They'll use the floor. They'll use Super Nintendo. They'll use anything to not practice a behavioral pattern that guarantees that people who of their same background are benefiting, who have gone through a history of mistreatment. They won't. So what I'm saying is, with me, I don't take the religious stuff serious. So when you say, oh, he's a loving man, he's religious, I don't see, because I know through experience, 20 years, that if you remove that, those same people have something else. These are the facts. Because an intelligent brother like you can work out that I can help black people and still get a piece of bread and put butter on it. I can still help black people and go on a bike and drive it. I can still help black people and give sugar to my neighbor.
right.
But the people who don't want to do it, they use the most powerful weapon of all time, religion. Because with religion, it's taboo. It's like, let's not talk about religion. And I'm very respectful. If you come and talk about religion, I'm not going to talk about it because it's a personal thing. And obviously the people I'm part of all different kinds of religions. So I keep stum. But I recognize that they're using it as a weapon to undermine black progress. And that's what it is.
Yeah.
Whether they know it or not.
Do you think it's because they're threatened or they just don't like it or they're individualist?
It's not me. It's something they don't like. What it is, it's...
And what I mean is, I get your point and I agree with you 100%. I don't see how, like you said, I have the same school of thought. As long as it doesn't intervene in my faith.
Right.
So, a collective that are impoverished, who are trying to better themselves, I don't see how that harms my faith in God.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, I agree.
Unless they're forcing me, but no one's going to put a gun to your head and say do this, which goes against your religion.
Unfortunately, right, by osmosis, many black people have been culturally conditioned to undermine black progress. What do I mean by this, right? Let's break down the history, right? If you had, let's just use Europe and Africa as two different examples, right? For many years, Europeans, unfortunately, were mistreating the Africans and taking resources from Africa, right? We know this, right? Facts, right?
Yeah, to this day.
Yeah, okay, yeah, you say that, right?
Yeah.
Now, that's like that, right? Now, what happens is, at some point, some Europeans said, you know what? This is not right, for whatever reason, right? So we're now pushing a new philosophy. You can't mistreat people based upon being from different places. And then, the extension of that is, everyone must work together. Kumbaya, right? That makes sense for Europeans because they have a history of mistreating, so they should practice that. The ones who are at the bottom shouldn't, because if everyone works together when you're like this, here's what happens.
It's the same thing.
Yeah. So those people have to stay dedicated. Actually, those people should actually fix that, but it'll be a mad thing to expect the people who benefit from your destruction to either come together to work on you solely. So for the time being, we're focusing on ourselves, isn't it? But what I'm saying is that philosophy that people being in the media and watching have made it make sense. Like, okay, help everyone, innit? Right? So when I talk, they'll use religion, they'll use rainbows, there's anything to say, help everyone. And then what happens, they won't say, you know what, I can still help my brother next door and practice helping black people. They won't say that. They'll say, stop everything. You see what I'm saying? Because their mind is not there already. They've already compromised. They have low value, and I mean that in the most correct sense. They have low value to black people. And that's the true nature.
Oh, could they just be individualists? Where they just care about self?
He did say that Pele.
So this concept of individualism, right? It's something that we never observe. We don't really observe it in the real world of a person being so solo that they make their own clothes, they make their own food, they make their own boat, they make their own government with just them, and they make their own child with no woman. There's not such thing. As
what I meant is in the sense of if this benefits me at the detriment of my community, so be it. At least I'm getting rich. At least I'm getting paid.
But they're out of the fold, then, aren't they? What I'm saying is, I was talking to you earlier about, we keep mentioning things that show very wicked behaviours.
Oh, yeah.
And then we're like, okay, they're out the fold. It's like, we were talking about, because obviously people want non-black people to join black betterment. Yeah, that's saying, yeah. They want non-black people to join black betterment stuff. Yeah. And I say, when non-black people try to join, I say, okay, one of the things we're trying to learn is leadership skills and how to actually show self-determination. Part of leadership is being able to direct, right? So if you want to join, you can't join, but you can take some direction. The direction is, let us know in your community who's mistreating black people, right? And they'll say, I can't do that, right? And so I'm not going to say no names. Yeah. Certain people around us said, yeah, they shouldn't have to do that. I get that, right?
No, that was me. I said that.
Okay, you said that. I don't want to bait you up because I'm a kind guy. You said it, right? What I'm saying is, once again, that means at the back of our mind we've been culturally compromised, isn't it?
There was some part of me that did think to myself, for me to go up to my Asian friend and say to him, because I know every community is racist in some type of way, right? You might find good families, but you won't find a community that are not racist, right? So if I go to my Asian friend and I say to him, okay, tell me what way you're not racist to black people. Like, what do you like think of Africans? I already know some of the things, right?
You get a high percentage of people don't like it.
I feel like, in a way, I'll be asking my friend to explore his community.
Exploit?
Expose, I should say, wrong word.
So people at home, just so you know, we did exercise.
Let me tell you what I thought. I didn't take it back, but I was saying, at that moment, it felt to me like I was asking him to expose the community, because every community's got their, what's the word? We are, homogeneous. When you love yourself, basically, you know.
But there's a difference between loving yourself and hating someone else.
That is true. But the point of homocentric.
You can love yourself without hating someone else.
We don't observe that in other communities, unfortunately.
I feel it's homocentric, but the idea is like you generally look within yourself.
What we're doing now is we're trying to justify mistreating black people.
I know, that's the point. So you brought up to me earlier, and I said to you now, I don't think you should do that because I feel like crossing the line. Then you said why? I thought about it. At first I thought, I'm asking to expose the community, and now I thought, even whatever's there already can really fix it. This is happening in some part of the world. It's been there from before, like maybe we just focus on community. But then the European moment comes. You're right. I'm being preconditioned. Yeah. I already have this.
I'm glad you recognize
I already have this defeatist mindset.
Yes.
And I was already being negative towards it. I kind of presumed rather than thinking it through. Yes. And he was right. And I'm glad he brought up whatnot.
And I appreciate it.
Yeah. And I'm trying. I know I go forward. I'm still trying to decolonize my mind every day, put it that way, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
And that's why we're here, to each one teach one, right? But what I'm saying is, there's something I'm telling you that I recognize through 20 years of experience, right? And it's consistent, isn't it? Right. And there's some people they've taken the blue pill or the red pill, right? They understand it, right? What I'm saying is, that's very normal, isn't it, right? That's very normal. And that's why I say we have to be doing things amongst self. Because we're so culturally conditioned to do things that's not in our best interest. And by what I was saying, the brother who we respect, who was here before the cameras, the way he's speaking, even though the stuff we can agree with, like, because when you say religion, beautiful. When you say Allah, Jesus, beautiful, cool. But actually, they're using it as a weapon. It's a back of the mind weapon, isn't it? How can it happens by black people and non-black people. How can I stop this energy? Right now, these 17 people are saying they're going to come together to work on this black issue. How can I stop it? Religion. Racism. Kumbaya. It's Super Nintendo. Anything they can say to make you not do
black, I couldn't say this to an Asian person, the white person, because they're not African. They're not in our shoes, right? Yeah. But if there's a black African person, whether they're Christian, whether they're Muslim, whatnot, I think you may be able to say to them, there is no dichotomy between following your faith, whether it's Christianity, Islam, and trying to empower your people back home. Right. So you're creating this dichotomy, which is not really there.
Why do they do this? But what I'm saying is,
the thing is like,
this is what they do.
But everyone interprets religion different. Everyone interprets their meaning of life different.
Racism, religion is the worst people shout. And the reason they shout is because these are big words that make that. Because remember, unfortunately, many black people have been trained to be subservient, right?
Right.
So when you shout the word racism or religion, literally, black people tremble. They tremble, yeah? And that's why she's a weapon. Just analyze the behavioral patterns of non-black people when you're trying to galvanize and get black people together. Let's analyze what they use. Racism, religion, yeah? And what I'm saying is, once you know it, it has no power. That's why I stay with the same kind of demeanor.
See, I've got a different answer to you. When I speak to my friends and my colleagues at work about black empowerment, about helping Africa, about this, I speak about it quite a lot myself. And to me, it seems like, I don't know if this is maybe my religion or political glass on, consumerism. People are very selfish nowadays, especially here in the Western world, where people think, well, they are kind of good, right? They're comfortable life, la la la. And I think they're out of touch with reality. Like, I just come back from Ethiopia a few weeks ago, right? Sets back to reality. Like, it makes you realize what life is meant to be like again. It makes you realize, like, what back home looks like again. Right. It makes you realize the disparities again, the destruction of equality. It puts a highlight on history. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, it really grounds me again. But if I stay here in London for too long, a couple of years, and I don't leave my space, bro, it's easy to get lost in your bubble. It's easy to...
Brother, let me add to that, it's very important. That's why when you practice black betterment, you're around other black people who try to recreate that feeling you got in Ethiopia. Yeah? So you don't lose your mind. So you don't start dressing in certain ways that with crop tops and whatever you were talking about earlier, right? Yeah. What I'm saying is that's how we operate, innit? We understand what is very important for black people collectively. If you're here and you're not feeling well, or people are mistreating you, then there needs to be a people that you can turn to remedy that.
Yeah, facts.
Yeah? And that if those people themselves are compromised, they need to be fixed or culled.
Right.
Yeah?
100%.
We need to have a rule set in it.
100%.
Now, the one rule set that I push forward, which is the unrule, black people helping black people on black issues. I won't compromise it. If you try to do kumbayaism, to the door you have to go. If there's a building, a production, a network that is just for the descendants of Africa, sub-Saharan African, melanated, Aboriginal, black people, Negroes, whatever the words are, that collective group coming together, that's it. And unfortunately, I know I bring it up, the brother how he's speaking, would not be able to come in. He will be escorted to the door by a person from the same nation as him, the same faith as him, who realise that this man is compromised. The facts. I'm the kind one. I'm the one who smiles all the time. Everyone else are sick and tired of self-sabotage. They don't understand how they have nothing, but yet it's being sabotaged. They don't get it. They don't understand the conditioning of anti-black races, the conditioning of the enemies of black people. It's a very, very good conditioning. It's immortal, and it's maintained by the people you're trying to bring in the group. So when we're here, they're going to step forward, they're going to say one or two things, they're going to mention something that makes you argue with this brother, and then they're going to use things, racism and religion, to make you go, you know what, you're right, I'm going to go home and do what I was doing, I'm going to do no form of better. I see it week in, week out, but obviously I'm here to highlight it for you guys to go, that's terrible, for you guys to come within the fold and do something that's constructive for your people, your background, whatever it might be. That's what it is. Makes sense to me and to people who are synchronized with black betterment, but to the average everydayer, it makes no sense. Because
and back to your analogy a lot about the blueprint red pill. Yeah. Most people are stuck in a matrix. They don't know what reality is like. They don't know what history is like. They don't know how we got to the point we are right now. They don't even know what circumstances we live under. I'm talking about the powers to be and how we got here. You're a very intelligent man. You do your research, right? Other people don't. They're in a matrix, and it's sad because these are our brothers and sisters, right?
Yeah. Well, what's my answer to that? Very important for the people. What's my answer to that? If you remember, I'll say it, right?
So first of all,
the three phases. Three phases. Phase one is the people who have the ideas, right, of how to improve, right? Phase two are the able-bodied, intelligent, creative people who can execute. You might be one of them, potentially, right? Yeah. And then phase three. And phase three. So let's do it as a paradigm. There was me, you, and our best friend here.
Yeah, X-Man.
Yeah. I've come with an idea that might work. You're actually very intelligent, very able to commit. You do it. Phase three, the brother, he's in phase three. He's existing in the stuff that we've done. Right. Now, when he's existing in the stuff we've done, you know how we came with this very, very religious talk? Right. What happens in the new paradigm, in the new parallel, he walks amongst black people who are talking about not helping black people, and he goes, you gotta do that, brother. black economics, black love, because he doesn't know that the world has been conditioned for him to love himself. Just like he doesn't know that the world has been conditioned for him not to love himself. And that's how the phase 3 works. But luckily you're in the phase 2. You've ate the pill. You've actually, I know what colour it is. He's just eating in a world that the people at the pill have created. And that's the best we can offer to brothers like that, unless they change.
He probably thinks that you and me eat the pill. but we're granted, innit? Like,
the thing is, here's what I say. Here's how I squash with that, right? There has to be a purpose. And you have to declare your purpose. If your purpose is to spread Christianity, then you can monitor that. You go, you did really good. You got 10 people to convert to Christianity, right? If what you're doing is helping black people, you can monitor that. Compare me to him. That's what I say. What have you done where black people collectively benefit?
But he thinks, like, once again, I'm going to play devil's advocate, right? Whereas I respect everything you're doing, he's not trying to save human lives. What he's trying to do is he's trying to save souls. Remember? So to him, in his worldview, but to him in his world, I don't know, it's not relevant to this because we're talking about politics, we're talking about reality. But to him, it's just as valid, right? You see what I'm saying? So I'm just respecting the fact that.
I respect that.
I think he's telling the right place. He'd rather save our soul.
Here's what I don't. So here's where I respect you, right?
Yeah.
If you talk about religion, I know that you're and deities and gods, you're trying to do it because you're trying to save people's soul, you're trying to do good things, create a good environment. I love it. 10 points. Right? However, if we were talking about engineering a car, we're making a car and we've got a certain amount of time to fix a car, and just then someone comes in and they start talking about rainbows. It's like, why are you talking about rainbows, bro? We're talking about making a car, and we're stopping the car to talk about, there's red, there's yellow, there's pink and there's blue. And we're like, hold on, we're trying to fix the car. And next thing you know, time goes by, we ain't fixed the car, but we're all carrying rainbows. But we weren't there to talk about rainbows. We're there to make a car. We will talk about how to improve black people collectively, yeah? And we went down economics, psychology, all this kind of stuff, right? So for the man to say, bundle that, convert to my religion. And not even say, you know what? Within the religion, you can use this particular tool to actually get economic. No, it's just like, bun that, follow my religion. All everyone come together, have a dance, song and dance. Well, you want me to follow that? You call that leadership? I love the brother. We have love for the brother. Phase 3. Phase 3. Not phase 1, not phase 2, phase 3. That's the only thing we can do for him.
Yeah, but in the meantime, man, I just want to hope more people listen to you. Get the words out there. Like you said, you're talking about how we're collectively inadequate, right?
Yes.
I think one thing I would like you to address is the collective conscience of black people in this country. We have a collective conscience. Right. When I walk down the road, I see black men on holiday, or he sees me. We know each other.
Of course.
What is that? That's the collective conscience. Because we both know we're in a minority right now. Yeah. When we're in workplaces, me and black people, we draw together easier.
Of course.
I don't know how to explain it. I've never met these people. But we know these things because we have a collective conscience, right? So these things that you're talking about, which is, I would want that to go to the collective conscience of the black people in the UK. So maybe then people can start putting things into action, and then maybe then we see the elite, the elitists, the philosopher kings, like you want to call them, to actually go there and put things into grind. And then
you're part of that, brother. So every Friday at 10 o'clock, type in Black Bear and Broadcast, so you followed it, right? Yeah. All brothers and sisters, Fridays, YouTube, 10 o'clock, Black Bear and Broadcast. It's black people talking, trying to find solutions for black issues. You're welcome to jump on, come along. Black Bear and Broadcast. If you type that in YouTube, you'll find it. Yeah. The brothers. Right? Yeah. Literally, you're welcome to come along to find solutions. We won't entertain people who are going to make us not do that. If you come along and start talking about rainbows, it's like, that's got nothing to do with them. Yeah? Literally. Yeah? So we want the elite group. We want the qualified group. We want the intelligent people who actually love black people and want us to prosper. Come along. If you're unsynchronized, do what you're doing. There's no value. I mean, there's no value for you because you've placed no value in yourself. Until you can place value in yourself, we ain't going to need it. Do you know what I mean? This is what it is. Fridays, 10 o'clock. Big up COE, Black Owned Business. Big up Leon and the good work he does. 4K videos and all that good stuff, yeah? Big up the brothers, their secret.
Subscribe, share, and like.
There you go.
I'll be there Friday.
And hopefully they'll be here next week to face. So we're going to do our call every week. We're going to get all the brothers and sisters from the diaspora to come along and talk about issues and find solutions. Boom, done. Well done.